the final pope and world's end. St. Malachi's 12th century prophecy doesn't just predict papal succession, it explicitly describes the apocalypse. According to the prophecy, after the 112th pope comes Petrus Romanus, Peter the Roman, during whose reign the seven-hilled city will be destroyed, and the formidable judge will judge his people. The end. This isn't about church reform or political upheaval. It's about the literal end of human history. The prophecy describes Rome's complete destruction, with fire raining from heaven and the final judgment of all souls. Pope Francis, believed by many to be this final pope, allegedly presides over humanity's last generation before Christ's second coming and the end of time itself. The prophecy suggests that during this final pontificate, natural disasters will devastate the earth, wars will consume nations, and supernatural events will herald the apocalypse. Rome, the eternal city, will be reduced to rubble as divine wrath purifies the world. Some interpretations claim the final pope will witness the opening of the seven seals described in Revelation, with plagues, famines, and cosmic catastrophes marking humanity's final chapter. Whether Francis fulfills this role or another pope follows, believers see this prophecy as humanity's countdown to Armageddon, with the Vatican at ground zero of the world's end. 2. The Third Secret of Fatima, Nuclear Apocalypse and Global Annihilation. While the Vatican released an official interpretation in 2000, many believers insist the real Third Secret of Fatima describes global nuclear annihilation and the complete destruction of civilization. According to these theories, the Virgin Mary showed the children visions of atomic warfare consuming entire continents, with radiation poisoning survivors and turning the earth into a wasteland. The suppressed version allegedly describes how nuclear weapons will be used in a final world war, with major cities vaporized in minutes and millions dying instantly. The prophecy supposedly warns that this atomic apocalypse will begin in the Middle East before spreading worldwide, with Rome itself being destroyed by nuclear fire. The seas will boil, the sky will turn black, and the few survivors will envy the dead. Some versions claim the secret reveals the exact date of this nuclear holocaust, which is why the Vatican refuses to release it. The prophecy allegedly describes how humanity's final war will leave the earth uninhabitable, with only a remnant of faithful Catholics surviving in underground shelters to rebuild civilization after the radioactive dust settles. This apocalyptic interpretation suggests that the Virgin Mary's tears at Fatima were for humanity's impending nuclear suicide, making this not just a religious prophecy, but a prediction of our species' potential extinction through atomic warfare. 3. The Antichrist Pope, Satan's representative triggers Armageddon. The most terrifying Vatican apocalypse theory claims the final pope will literally be the Antichrist himself, Satan's chosen representative who will trigger the end times. This isn't about corruption or bad leadership. This is about evil incarnate occupying the chair of St. Peter and using papal authority to damn humanity's souls and initiate Armageddon. According to this prophecy, the Antichrist Pope will perform false miracles, including raising the dead and controlling weather, to deceive the world into worshiping him as God. He will establish a one-world religion with the Vatican as its headquarters, forcing all humanity to receive the mark of the beast or face execution. Those who resist will be hunted down and martyred in a global persecution unprecedented in human history. The Antichrist Pope will allegedly sign a 7-year peace treaty with Israel, then break it halfway through, revealing his true satanic nature. He will declare himself God in a desecrated saint, Peter's Basilica, triggering the Great Tribulation described in Revelation. Natural disasters, plagues, and demonic manifestations will terrorize the earth as this false pope leads humanity into its final rebellion against God. The prophecy culminates with Christ's second coming to defeat the Antichrist Pope at the Battle of Armageddon, followed by the final judgment and the end of human history as we know it. 4. Nostradamus, Rome burns in nuclear fire. During Final War, Nostradamus predicted that Rome would be completely destroyed during the Final World War, with the Great Fire consuming the Eternal City as part of global apocalyptic devastation. His quatrains describe atomic weapons turning major population centers into radioactive graveyards, with Rome specifically targeted for annihilation during humanity's last conflict. The prophet's visions allegedly show mushroom clouds rising over the Seven Hills, with St. Peter's Basilica melting under nuclear heat and the Tiber River boiling from atomic fire. He predicted that this destruction of Rome would signal the beginning of the final tribulation, with the surviving pope fleeing to France as Europe burns in atomic warfare. The prophecy describes how this nuclear holocaust will spread globally, with 3 days of darkness following as radioactive clouds block out the sun. Nostradamus claimed this atomic apocalypse would kill 2/3 of humanity, leaving the survivors to face plagues, famines, and supernatural disasters. His prophecies suggest that the destruction of Rome will trigger cosmic events, including earthquakes that split continents and meteors that poison the oceans. The few remaining humans will witness the collapse of civilization itself, with technology failing and cities crumbling as nature reclaims a depopulated Earth. According to believers, we're currently living through the events leading to this nuclear apocalypse, with Rome's destruction marking the point of no return for human civilization. 5. The Garabandal warning, divine chastisement ends. Human history. The Garabandal prophecies don't just predict church crisis, they describe divine chastisement that will end human history as we know it. The Virgin Mary allegedly warned that after a worldwide supernatural warning visible to all humanity, God will send a devastating punishment that will fundamentally transform or destroy our civilization. This divine chastisement is described as far worse than any natural disaster in human history. The prophecy claims fire will fall from heaven, oceans will rise to impossible heights, and the earth itself will convulse with unprecedented earthquakes. Mountains will crumble, continents will shift, and entire nations will disappear beneath the waves. The few survivors will witness the physical transformation of the planet itself. The Garabandal seers claimed this chastisement would be so severe that those who survive will find themselves in a completely different world, one where the laws of physics may operate differently, and where supernatural elements become part of daily reality. The prophecy suggests this isn't just about punishment, but about God ending the current age of human history and beginning something entirely new. Some interpretations claim this chastisement will literally remake the Earth's surface, creating new continents and eliminating others, effectively ending the world as we know it and beginning a new era where the surviving remnant will live under direct divine rule. 6. La Salette, Rome becomes hell on earth before world's end. The La Salette prophecy describes Rome literally becoming the seat of the Antichrist during the final tribulation, with the Vatican transformed into a center of demonic activity before the world's complete destruction. This isn't metaphorical. The prophecy claims actual demons will manifest in St. Peter's Basilica as Satan takes control of the church's headquarters. The secret message describes how Rome will be consumed by supernatural fire that burns for months, with demons visibly walking the streets and performing blasphemous rituals in sacred spaces. The prophecy claims this demonic occupation of Rome will trigger global catastrophes, including seas turning to blood, the sun becoming black, and stars falling from heaven. Entire populations will be possessed by evil spirits as the boundary between hell and earth dissolves. According to La Salette, this demonic transformation of Rome signals the final 3.5 years before the world's complete destruction. During this period, the earth will experience supernatural disasters that make natural catastrophes seem trivial, rivers flowing backward, gravity reversing, and time itself becoming distorted. The prophecy describes how the few faithful Christians will witness reality itself breaking down as God prepares to end human history and create new heavens and a new earth. The destruction will be so complete that no trace of the current world will remain, making this a true apocalypse rather than just another historical catastrophe. 7. Saint Francis, false pope, triggers final tribulation and world's end. Saint Francis of Assisi's prophecy describes a false pope who will trigger the final tribulation period before the world's complete destruction. This isn't about church politics. The prophecy claims this anti-pope will possess supernatural powers granted by Satan and will use them to deceive humanity into joining a final rebellion against God that ends in Armageddon. The false pope will allegedly perform miracles that rival those of Christ, including raising the dead, controlling natural disasters, and making fire come down from heaven. These demonic powers will convince most of humanity that he is divine, leading to the establishment of a global satanic kingdom with the Vatican as its capital. The prophecy describes how this period will last exactly 3.5 years, during which true Christians will be hunted to extinction. According to Saint Francis, this final tribulation will culminate in the Battle of Armageddon, where the forces of good and evil fight their last battle on earth. The prophecy describes cosmic catastrophes accompanying this final war, the moon turning to blood, stars falling like rain, and the Earth's axis shifting dramatically. Mountains will be flattened, islands will disappear, and the geography of the planet will be permanently altered. The false pope and his followers will be defeated when Christ returns, followed immediately by the final judgment and the end of human history. Saint Francis claimed this would not be a new beginning, but a true ending, the complete termination of the current universe and its replacement with an entirely different reality. 8. Blessed Anna Katharina Emmerich. Church destruction. Precedes global apocalypse. Blessed Anna Katharina. Emmerich's visions describe the Catholic Church's complete destruction as the prelude to global apocalypse and the end of human civilization. Her prophecies claim that the collapse of the Church will trigger supernatural disasters that will devastate the entire planet and end the current age of human history. Emmerich saw visions of Vatican City being physically destroyed by earthquakes and fire, with St. Peter's Basilica crumbling into rubble as demons emerge from the earth. Her prophecies describe how this destruction of the Church's center will unleash supernatural chaos worldwide, plagues that kill within hours, animals turning aggressive and attacking humans, and natural disasters occurring simultaneously across all continents. The mystic claimed that after the Church's destruction, the earth itself will begin to die. Crops will fail globally, water sources will become poisonous, and the air will become difficult to breathe. She described seeing the sun growing dimmer each day until it barely provides light, while the moon turns blood red permanently. According to her visions, this dying earth will experience 3 days of supernatural darkness, during which demonic creatures will roam freely and most of humanity will perish in terror. Emmerich's prophecies suggest that only a tiny remnant will survive this global apocalypse, living in caves and mountains until Christ returns to establish his kingdom on a completely transformed earth. This won't be restoration, but replacement. The old world will be gone forever. These 8 prophecies paint a terrifying picture of the Vatican's role in humanity's final chapter. Whether as victim, perpetrator, or ground zero, Rome appears destined to be central to the apocalypse itself. From nuclear annihilation to demonic invasion, these predictions suggest we're not just facing change, we're facing the literal end of the world as we know it. Are these ancient warnings about our approaching doom, or just the fears of past generations? The clock keeps ticking, and only time will tell if these apocalyptic visions become our reality. What do you think? Are we living in the end times? Let me know in the comments, and subscribe for more spine-chilling prophecies.